guess what? I finished my sweater. Hooray! I'm so excited. Finished my first sweater. Here she is in all her glory. So again, this is the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I knit it in the DK weight version. The yarn that I used is Superwash Merino from La Bienne Amy. The color is Yellow Brick Road Graffiti. So I'm super excited and super proud. I finished my first sweater. It's summer now, so it's not really sweater season, but I'm still glad that I finished it. And I actually have worn it several times since I finished it. I finished it a couple weeks ago, and I wore it in public for the first time over the weekend. And I got a lot of compliments on it, even from strangers who like didn't know that like I made it. I was just like walking down the street and they're like, that's a really cool sweater. And I'm like, hey, thanks. So yeah, I'm like really excited. Before I tell you all the things that are wrong with it, I'm gonna tell you what's so right with it. It's really soft. So the Superwash Merino is really, really soft and it feels good. I'm wearing a tank top right now because it's like 90 degrees outside, but it feels like good against my skin. Like even if I didn't have like a t-shirt underneath or a tank top underneath, it feels really soft and like good against my skin. And I wore it outside. It was like a little bit cooler and a little bit windy, and it kept me plenty warm, and I was like really comfortable in it. So I really am happy with it that way, as far as like how it feels and like it keeps me warm. And I'm really loving the garter panel down the sleeve. I think it really adds a nice touch to it. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on that too with people who have seen it. They're like, oh, I really love that sleeve detail. And I'm like, yeah, me too. So yeah, would recommend to a friend. Even if you're not a beginner, I feel like this pattern, it's like a, it's like a basic raglan sweater. But again, with the garter panel down the sleeves, I feel like it kind of like gives it a little something, something. And speaking of sleeves, let's talk about that. So I said in my last video that I had heard that superwash merino wool tends to grow after blocking, and that was 110% true with this sweater. So we'll transition now into all of the mistakes I made and all the things that are not perfect about this sweater. True to what everybody said, the superwash merino wool does grow a lot with blocking. I'd heard that when I was like knitting my first sleeve. Well, I guess I heard about it when I was still working on the body. So I wanted the body to be just a little bit cropped. And so I stopped an inch short of where I wanted the length to be, because I figured it'll grow, and then when I block it, it'll grow that extra inch or so that I wanted. And I stopped the sleeves like about here-ish, figuring that it would grow like another inch, and then the sleeve length would be where I want it. And as you can see, my sleeves are rolled, because another thing that I learned is that this garter stitch grows a lot and stretches a lot in like a very different direction. So like it made the sleeve really long, so you can see like, and this sleeve is actually the short sleeve. The sleeve on the left, I don't know what happened, but I was counting my rows and I obviously screwed it up, because the sleeve on the left is 4 inches longer than the right sleeve. So this one is like extra long, and they're too long. So I've been wearing it with the cuffs rolled up, and it makes it less worse with the cuffs rolled. But I don't know what happened. Like I was trying to be really diligent when I made the second sleeve, which was the left sleeve, with counting my rows and taking good notes so that the sleeves could be same. And obviously they aren't. Another thing that I did that was an oops is when I was picking up the stitches on the underarm, it seemed really gappy and like there were extra holes under here. So I picked up a few extra stitches, and I meant to knit them together after like picking them up and like knitting the next round, and I forgot. So this sleeve is also like much baggier and bigger in circumference than the other sleeve. Oh well. I feel like those were like kind of my main. Oh, and the other thing is the collar. I forgot about the collar. So after I blocked it, the collar was like all the way out to here, like to my shoulders. And I was like, oh my God, like there's no way I could wear, unless I was gonna do like an off the shoulder, like 80s style kind of a deal, but it was so wide. I was like, oh my God, there's no way. And then because the collar was all the way out here, the sleeves were like that much longer as well, like way past my fingertips. So I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I got some elastic thread, you can see that, and I threaded the collar to bring the collar in. And you can see it's like a little puckery still, because even, I mean, it's still pretty wide, but even still with the elastic, like it's still pretty wide, and it's a little puckery with the elastic thread, but I don't want the collar to be any wider. So I'm just like dealing with the fact that it's a little ruffly. But the good thing is when I brought the collar in, it also brought the shoulders up. So then it made the sleeves a little bit shorter once I brought this part up and in. So, I mean, lesson learned, I probably won't make anything in superwash merino again. And if I, not because I don't like it, I love it. I love how it feels. It's super soft. And it's really nice to knit with. Like it feels really nice, and it's like nice and tightly wound or spun. And it was lovely, absolutely lovely to work with. But now that I know that it grows a lot, I think I would probably size down and then anticipate, especially like if something like with a garter panel like this, now that I know that it like stretches or like grows so much, I would just try to anticipate that more and knit the sleeves even shorter. The body, ironically, didn't really grow any more than it originally was. A cropped length, pseudo cropped length. It's not super cropped, but just a little bit. It like comes just below my little belt. But I wanted it to be maybe like an inch longer so that it just like sits better, but it didn't grow. And then the split hem in the back, like I wanted this to be longer as well, but it didn't grow that direction. It only grew from the garter panel. So the split hem and like the length is like a little bit shorter than what I wanted, but it's okay. It's fine with like high-waisted jeans, and I've primarily only worn it with like leggings. So like the length doesn't really matter with leggings because you're not contending with like a belt or something like that, or a true waistband. So it's like not a big deal. But anyways, first sweater done. I feel like this sweater has really been like a gateway drug for me, because now I'm like, oh my God, I want to make everything. Like I want to make all the shirts, all the sweaters, all the tanks. I even want to make like I was looking the other day at like skirt patterns. Now, for those of you who actually like know me well, you know, I don't even own a skirt. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, like maybe I should knit one. Like not something I ever thought I would ever do. But again, it's like a gateway drug, because I'm like, oh my God, like I made this thing and I can actually wear it, and it's actually like wearable. And now I want to make all of the things. So that's my finished object. So today I thought I would go in order of how these other YouTubers that I watch do their videos, where they start with like a finished object and they show you their whips and then like yarn acquisitions, because I actually do have a really big yarn acquisition to share. I know in my last video I've also bought a ton of yarn at Wool & Company, but I got more yarn for another project that I actually had planned before I went on that Wool & Company trip. I had picked out this other pattern that I was just like totally obsessed with. So my whips. This is actually a whip that's been ongoing for a while, and I forgot about it to show in my last video, but this is a Sophie shawl by Petite Knit. So it's like, I think I'm making the largest size, so it's not quite half done, but this is what it looks like. I don't remember what kind of yarn is this. I don't know. This is some kind of La Bien Amy yarn. It's very scratchy. I want to say it's called like Wensley Worsted or something like that. I don't know what the color name is, but I saw it. It looks really, really dark on camera, but in real life, it's kind of like a purpley, eggplanty, like grape color. So anyways, when I saw this color at the yarn shop, I was like, obviously I need that. And my original plan was to make this Sophie shawl in like a neutral color. My friend Kelsey has it. She wore it in like a neutral color. It was like kind of like a beigey tan brown color. She wore it on our entire trip when we went to Europe last year, and I was like, okay, I need that scarf. And like, you know, you could, I mean, obviously it's not long yet, but like you can wrap it around a bunch of times. And those are the kind of scarves that I really love in wintertime. And I wasn't thinking about that when I bought this yarn and it's really scratchy on my neck. And you can see like the fibers in it. It has these, okay, I decided to stop bumbling and go get the information on this yarn. So this yarn, it's called Cori Worsted, and the color is Medellin. I'm assuming it's French, Medellin, and it is 75% Falkland Corriedale and 25% Goatland wool. And for 100 grams, you get 230 meters. So the wool is very woolly and it's quite scratchy. It has these black like fiber bits that are like extra scratchy. So anyways, I didn't think about that when I bought this yarn. I saw the color and I was like, I need that color. I also didn't look at the price, but here it is. I have it. I'm still gonna wear it and I'm still gonna love it, even though it's a little scratchy. I'm not like super sensitive to wool and like scratchy stuff, but it's definitely like not, if I would have been thinking more clearly, I would have gotten a softer, like next to skin feeling wool. But whatever, here we are. I loved the color and I don't regret it. Like, I love this color. It's so fun and it's gonna look great. So this project has been on my needles for a really long time. I started it like last fall or something, and it's kind of like my just sitting around like waiting for an appointment or whatever, waiting to get my oil changed project, where I can take it with me and pick it up and put it down without having to like follow a pattern or like really pay attention. I really love this pattern. I know I'm behind the times on it because it was really popular like maybe 2 years ago when it came out by Petite Knit, but obviously I wasn't knitting 2 years ago, and it just wasn't on my radar even to make until I saw it on my friend Kelsey, and that's what really sold me on it, was seeing it on her. I just loved it, and I love this. It has like this built-in I-cord edge that's just part of how you make it, and I think it looks so nice and so polished, and I just love it. So anyways, I don't have any like big plans of like when I need to finish it. I just would like to have it finished so that I can wear it again for next winter, and that's like 6 months from now, so I have plenty of time to finish it. But yeah, that's my first whip to show you that I forgot about from last video. Sophie Shawl by Petite Knit. Everybody knows it, everybody loves it, everyone's made like 700 of them. Old news. Moving on to my next whip is another Petite Knit pattern. Surprise, surprise. The Anchor Tee by Petite Knit. This is the fingering weight version. So this is how far I've gotten. This is the collar here. It's knit from the top down. I have the collar and like a couple of the rib sections done. This yarn is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the color Rhubarb Rose. So this is the yarn that Wool & Company special ordered for me when I was there, whenever that was. It came in the mail really quick. Like, they had said to expect delivery in like 2 to 4 weeks, but I feel like I got it in like a week or maybe even less than a week. So that was nice, you know, they like under promised and over delivered. So I was really excited to get it in the mail because as soon as I got it, I cast this on immediately. So I like the design and the look of this shirt, but I'm gonna be honest, 1x1 rib is annoying. Like, it's funny because when I knit on something else that's just like stockinette, I am so ingrained of doing 1x1 rib that's what I start doing on my other projects. And I'm like, oh wait, no, it's just knits. It's not, there's no purls in this part. I have to like undo stuff. And then I like won't be paying attention. Then I'll just start doing 1x1 rib again. I'm like, oh wait, I'm not working on the t-shirt. It's something different. So the 1x1 rib is like really ingrained in my head now from doing this. But I will say, I don't think I would ever make another shirt that's got so much 1x1 ribbing in it ever again. However, I love the look of it, and I'm hoping that my finished t-shirt will look like the pattern or like the samples or whatever that Petite Knit has posted, because I think it looks really cute. And I have seen this shirt in real life. was telling you about that in my last video. CJ, who works at Wool & Company, was wearing the DK weight version of this shirt. It was great to see it in real life. It looked really great on her. So, but anyways, I'm working on the yoke. I'm not quite finished with it yet. I think I have, this rib section is almost done, and then I think I have one more to go, and then I'll split for sleeves, and then it'll just be stockinette for the rest of the body, I think. But anyways, that's my other whip that's in progress, is the Anchor Tee by Petite Knit. So again, thanks to this sweater, I am now like obsessed, and I want to make everything. I want my whole wardrobe to be like hand knit and handmade. But these are the two whips that I have going currently, and I'm very excited. I really want to finish this sooner rather than later so that I can get some wear out of it this summer. The cotton merino, by the way, would recommend to a friend. Really like it. When I was at Wool & Company, CJ was showing me some other options to use for this fingering weight, like kind of like a summer blend of fibers. She showed me the Sandnes Garn Tin Line, which is a mix of like, I think linen and cotton and viscose or something like that. And it felt really lovely. It felt like kind of cool to the touch, and it had like a kind of a nice little sheen to it. But what made me decide on the cotton merino instead is the Sandnes Garn yarn looked really splitty. It wasn't, I don't know what you call it, twisted up. I don't know what you call that. The plies like were really quite loose, so it looked like it would be quite splitty to make. And I'm knitting this on, I think 3mm needles. Yeah, 3mm needles. And so I thought like, gosh, if I get a yarn that's like really splitty, that's going to be so annoying. So ultimately, that's what made me go with the cotton merino from Knitting for Olive. I was kind of sort of set on it anyways because I just wanted to try it, but I was really glad to be able to see the Sandnes Garn too. I might just try that yarn too, just for funsies, just to give it a try. When I was there, they didn't have a lot in stock, at least out on the floor, they didn't have a lot. So I haven't looked at like the colors that yarn comes in, but the Knitting for Olive cotton merino comes in a lot of colors. So that's another nice thing about this. So I'm excited to finish this so that I can wear it and like see how it feels. I live in southeastern Wisconsin, so it gets hot here, and it's also very humid in the summertime. So we'll see how this goes. It's 70% merino, 30% cotton. So, or no, I'm sorry, other way around. It's 70% cotton, 30% merino. So we'll see how it feels to wear it in the middle of summer. It's lovely to work with because of the merino. It's got like a little bit of nice stretch to it, not like 100% cotton. But I really just like the feel of this, and I like the look of it. So more to come on this. I've been trying to work on this as much as I can because I want to finish it so I can wear it for summer. So those are my two whips. And the next thing I wanted to share, it's very exciting, is I ordered yarn to make the, what is it called? The Herschelm Bomber. It's a pattern by Kit Couture. They're out of Copenhagen. So I saw this pattern and I was like, okay, I need that. So without really thinking about it, I ordered all of the yarn. I ordered all the yarn for it without really thinking about it, without reading the pattern. And yeah, I don't regret it, but I'm used to like patterns that have a lot of information. This pattern is really sparse. This sweater is also knit up in intarsia, which I don't know how to do. But I watched a couple of YouTube videos. Again, everything that I make and the whole reason why I even know how to knit is thanks to YouTube. So thank you, YouTube Nation, for all of you people who put out tutorials on how to knit and make things, because or how to fix mistakes and like everything. Honest to God, I wouldn't be able to make anything without YouTube. Like it's like probably like a bad thing that I use YouTube as such a crutch to learn, because I'm like, how did people learn how to do this stuff before YouTube existed? I don't know. But anyways, so I ordered the yarn for the Herschelm Bomber. Here's some of it. So this like cream color is the main color, and then these are all the little accent colors for the little intarsia panels. So I have many more balls of this yarn. It's just that they didn't fit in here. So I went onto Kit Couture's website, and they sell all of this yarn for this pattern in a kit. However, they do not ship it internationally because it comes in too big of a box. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll just piecemeal together all of the colors, at least try to get like as many of the same colors as I can from looking at the pattern. And I just like had to piecemeal them together. And it worked out fine. I had to order the yarn from 2 different yarn shops in the UK because this yarn isn't really available in the US, and I wanted to make the pattern with the recommended yarn because I wanted it to look just like the sample, because I think the sample is just like amazing. So this is yarn that's new to me, a brand that's new to me. It's called Filcolana, and it's their Peruvian yarn. It's made out of 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It comes in a 50-gram ball. It doesn't tell you how many meters you get per 50 grams. So I don't know what the meterage is on it, but it's a worsted weight yarn. And I ordered, again, like I used the pattern. I looked at the pattern to order all these colors, and I tried to get like as close to the pattern colors as I could. One of the colors that I know for sure is different is this kind of like aqua green color. I think it was more blue, I think, in the pattern. And then I ordered an extra color. I ordered this like grapey, this like dark grapey purple color, which it's not as bright as the purple for my Sophie shawl. My Sophie shawl is quite a bit brighter, but I saw this as I was scrolling through, because they make this yarn clearly in lots of different colors. And I saw this and I was like, ooh, that grapey purple color would be fun to add. So I just have to figure out like which panel I want to make purple. But these colors are pretty much what is in the sample. So again, I chose to do like this more natural color, like it's a cream color for the main color. The sample color is something else, but this color I think is just called natural, and the sample color I think is called marzipan, and I think it's a little bit less creamy and more like, I don't know, white, gray, I don't know. They didn't have it. So when I was looking to order this yarn, they were like sold out. I looked at like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different yarn shops in the UK, and they were all sold out of the marzipan. But I thought that this natural color was like close enough, and so far I'm happy with it. I think it'll look just fine. So yeah, these are all the yarns for this pattern. I'm super excited to get it started. It's a worsted weight sweater, and it calls for like these snap buttons that you put down, because it's like a cardigan. It's a cardigan essentially, and all of the panels are made separately, and with the exception of the sleeves, every panel is knit flat. So I need to learn how to do intarsia, and I have no idea how you seam all the pieces together. I don't know how to sew. So again, YouTube, I'll be relying on you to teach me how to sew these pieces together. I'm 100% committed to paying for like an hour of private help at my local yarn shop, because I just think this sweater is just so cool. I did not order press buttons, so the pattern calls for press buttons to keep the cardigan together, but I kind of like the look of it when it's just open. So we'll see what it looks like when I start to knit it up with the edges and stuff like that. But my intention is to keep it as like an open cardigan. So that's my big yarn acquisition, is all of these Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool for the Hirschholm bomber. And again, it's a pattern by Kit Couture. They're out of, can't I say that word? Kit Couture. It's a pattern by Kit Couture out of Copenhagen. I will say the pattern is extremely sparse, especially after knitting this sweater where there's like really clear, really detailed instructions. The pattern is very sparse, and it's basically like you make the right front panel and you follow this color chart that I obviously printed in black and white, but we'll refer to it in color, Technicolor, when I'm actually making it. But it's like, yeah, you make up the right front panel, and then the instructions for the left front panel are make the left front panel And same thing with the sleeves and stuff like that. There's just not a lot of information. So I'm hoping that I can muddle my way through it and it'll be okay. The pattern is also not size inclusive at all. It comes in 2 sizes, medium and large. That's it. So, I mean, it's an oversized sweater, cardigan sweater, but it's so not size inclusive. I mean, it's almost kind of a joke. Like, really? It only comes in 2 sizes? And yeah, when I bought the pattern and looked at it, I'm like, sure enough, it only comes in 2 sizes. So I'm making a medium. But anyways, Kit Couture, get on it with being more size inclusive, would you? Do us all a favor. Anyways, that's my big yarn acquisition. I'm super excited. I'll probably get that one started soon. I think I'm going to start with the back panel because it's just like and everything is knit from the bottom up. So you do ribbing for the bottom panel and then it's just stockinette for the back panel. So I feel like I can start that and it's just a very mindless knit. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that and still working on my anchor tee, I can start watching some more YouTube videos on how to do intarsia. And then I can also start practicing intarsia before I actually do intarsia. So I was thinking I might try practicing and making just some like simple random things. Like, I'm not even calling them patterns because they're not really patterns, but I just need to practice because there's like, you cut the yarn sometimes and other times you don't cut the yarn, and then you can also like do floats with the yarn depending on like where in the pattern you pick up the color. I don't know. I'm like not even gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking about because I obviously don't. So that's something that's on my list, my to-do list, is to figure out how to do intarsia and then just practice it so that I feel more comfortable when the time comes to actually start making the color panels. The sleeves are knit in the round, so switching colors won't be a problem for the sleeves. It's just like those front panels that are intarsia that I am just not familiar with. So anyways, yeah, that's my finished object, my whips, my yarn acquisitions. In my next video, I'm going to share with you, I was recently in Colorado for a wedding, and there happened to be a yarn festival in the town where the wedding was. Like, it was obviously my destiny that I went there and this yarn festival was happening. So I will share with you in my next video the yarn festival, my very first yarn festival. And I'll show you the stuff that I bought there as well. I picked up a couple fun things, met some nice people, met some really interesting people too. Man, it was really cool. I'm so glad that we went and that the timing of it all worked out. So like I said, I feel like it was my destiny. So thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.
Tell your mom.